Hello and welcome to Kaleidoscope. I'm Uche Aluku. Coming up on the program, non-profit faith-based organization, the Rose of Sharon Foundation, provides a platform for discussions on the plight of widows in commemoration of this year's International Widows' Day. The founder of the Rose of Sharon Foundation, Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, talks about the motivation behind supporting thousands of widows and orphans across Nigeria through economic empowerment programs, scholarships, and more. And we'll hear testimonies of beneficiaries of the Rose of Sharon Foundation about how their lives have been impacted since they started receiving support from the foundation. It's great to be back with another episode of the program. For many women around the world, especially in developing countries, the loss of a spouse usually ushers in a lifetime of poverty, discrimination, and many forms of human rights abuses. Every year, the International Widows' Day raises awareness of the need to end injustice and violence that these widows suffer. That's the focus of discussions at a virtual meeting convened by the Rose of Sharon Foundation. Take a look.
According to the United Nations, there are 258 million widows around the world. Nearly 1 in 10 of these widows live in extreme poverty, suffer discrimination, violence, and other forms of human rights violations. The International Widows' Day draws the attention to the plight of widows and calls for global action to address the poverty and injustice widows suffer worldwide. The annual event is marked at this virtual meeting hosted by the Rose of Sharon Foundation.
We've been celebrating International Widows' Day for over 6 years now, but this year's one is different because of the new realities on ground.
The founder of the non-profit faith-based organization and convener of the meeting, Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, highlights the need to better protect these vulnerable people.
The International Widows' Day started in 2003. All sorts of meetings, gatherings, seminars, conferences are being held here and there. I believe that there have been changes, but I also believe that reports have to be made. People who are doing these nasty things need to get arrested. You understand? The more arrests that are made, the more changes will be seen.
A message from the grand patron of the foundation, wife of the Lagos State Governor, Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, emphasizes the urgent need to break the silence around society's cruelty towards widows.
Issues bordering on welfare of widows in our climb must never be relegated, and the truth is that many are the afflictions of widows, but God is more than able. This time around, the discussion is on global change, widowhood and COVID-19, challenges and opportunities. Widows and children are also at the receiving end of sexual and gender-based violence, especially in which was recorded a high spike during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. The set time has come for widows to stop suffering in silence, be encouraged, come out and fight for your rights.
Among the attendees is the wife of the former governor of Cross River State, Mrs. Onari Duke, who talks about the benefit of the foundation's support for widows, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We should be encouraged at the fact that currently, as far as COVID is concerned, no one is left unscratched. So just to say, don't, as Her Excellency said, we should not feel sorry for ourselves too much because, we're already in a privileged position. You are under an umbrella, Rose of Sharon, that is caring not only for your, in terms of financial, but your entire well-being. And that's why, even at this time, you are reached out to.
The International Widows' Day, marked on the 23rd of June every year, is one of the avenues through which the Rose of Sharon Foundation advocates for the cause of widows in Nigeria. Since 2008, the foundation has been carrying out programs that provide financial empowerment and educational opportunity for widows, their children, and orphans to improve the quality of their lives.
I had an opportunity to speak with the founder of the Rose of Sharon Foundation, Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, who has spent many years uplifting widows and orphans across the country through numerous programs, including widows empowerment, enterprise training and development, scholarships, and school visitation. For her, it's about supporting vulnerable groups in society who need to be protected better.
Let's start with the motivation for starting the Rose of Sharon Foundation with the focus on supporting orphans and widows.
It was a call by God. I used to have a lot of people come to my store when I was on High Street who wanted assistance with one thing or the other. And then I decided to ask the Lord where exactly He would want me to kind of pay back. So He dropped a scripture in my spirit, James chapter 1, verse 27. You understand? And I quickly opened it, and it was about the way to look after widows and orphans, and that oneself should also remain spotless to the world. So that's where the journey started, and I wanted to honor the call. So I got a few friends together, and we started it. We launched the foundation on the 23rd of May, 2008, and it's been a wonderful journey. Touching lives, reaching out to them, putting smiles on their faces, and just transforming them from all the bitterness in their hearts, all the depression they were going through, to times and seasons where now they are just happy.
You picked two groups of people that face a very, very difficult challenge. They face poverty, extreme poverty, a lot of them. They face discrimination, violence, so many things. What projects and programs do you embark on to help improve their situation?
We had no learning experience when we were starting out, so we had to work with talking to the widows and the orphans, finding out what their needs and problems are, what they're facing, and then we had to create and coin those programs around their needs. And we came up with microcredit empowerment scheme, which is giving them small loans to get started. That's as far as the widows are concerned, because most of them are traders. Although lately we now have a lot of farmers in different geopolitical zones. And it's all interest-free. It's interest-free. We send their children to school. When we started out, it was 2 children per widow, but it became so demanding that we had to reduce it to 1 child per widow. And we are all over Nigeria now. We also empower them with training skills. We call it ETDP, Entrepreneurial Development Training Program. We give them skills and vocational trainings as well. And we put them into various seminars to help them to know how to run their businesses so that they don't run at a loss, and so that they don't eat the main principal sum, but they keep plowing down back their interest back into the business. There are those who are into agricultural business schemes. We're helping those ones as well, and we're about to start running a mentorship program. But when they first come to us, we visit them in their homes. We counsel them, we pray with them, we mentor them. But now we want to increase that into something, a bit more elaborate. We also do a youth empowerment program for the children, their children, and the orphans. We have an alumni. The children are part of that as well. And the women are learning one thing or the other all the time. And we give them equipments to get started with whatever it is that they're learning. The list is endless. We just wrap it around all their needs and how to help them to get from a low level to a high point. And we thank God that we have so many success stories.
So how do you decide the widows or the orphans to support?
Well, they come to us. Initially, we were looking for them. And then one day the Lord said in my ears, go on air. Just those 3 words. And we went on air through the radio. And in one day, we had 250 widows in the hall. And that's how we got started in a bigger way. So based on what a widow has enjoyed or is enjoying, or an orphan, they themselves spread the word. They have to prove that their husbands are dead. So we need to see the original death certificate. We need to be sure that they actually did get married at some point. We want to see the marriage certificate. We want to see their children's birth certificates. And we want to see an obituary. We want to see maybe the invitation card that they sent out to friends and relations.
Speaking of your database, how many of these widows and orphans do you have under the care of the Rose of Sharon Foundation?
We have impacted the lives of 4,272 widows in skills skills acquisition and vocational skills, and we have given loans to 1,750 of them. We have on our books, as far as scholarship is concerned, 1,721 of their children and the orphans. And we also have about 165 in the alumni. We have 8 widows that have gone to university and graduates, and we have 3 that are undergraduates at the moment.
This is a lot. How do you fund these endeavors?
We are self-funded at the moment, since inception up till now, but we are thinking of maybe partnering with those that might want to join us, those that are interested in what we're doing, that might want to join us. We hadn't done that in the past. We wanted to make sure that, we were fully well organized before we begin to look into that section. That would be the next level kind of thing, to help us to reach out to a lot more would-be beneficiaries.
Does it mean you don't get any form of support at all from other organizations or the government? Because the work is really huge.
We don't get any grants, if that's what you mean, but we do have various services. We do have supporters in various services, one of which is Channel TV for our publicity. That they've done a great job over the years. We thank God for the organization. Yes, there are those who support us with free medical services, because if we were to get into all that, it would cost us a lot, and it would distract us from our main focus. And our main focus is empowerment and education. So they help in those areas. There are free legal services, and we receive free training services.
So that helps make the work a little bit
it makes it a lot lighter, because it would have been a big distraction. And we don't have those professional capabilities anyway. You understand?
Yes.
So they partner with us for our programs.
You're watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. When we return, my conversation with Mrs. Folorunso Alakija continues, and we have some very touching stories from beneficiaries of the Rose of Sharon Foundation. Join us again.
Given your experience working with these vulnerable groups, that's the widows and orphans, what would you say are the biggest challenges they face in Nigeria, in a society like Nigeria?
I think the biggest challenge they face is when their husband has just died. In-laws become outlaws. They go for or the property the husband and wife put together while the husband was alive. They want to take it away from the wife. Some of them take the children away. Some of them just raid the house. And that's why our slogan is reach out and touch. We can all reach out to our neighbors because they live around us. If we look around us, there's always a widow or an orphan somewhere. A lending hand, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. And wherever we find a need, we don't need to be told. We don't need to be asked.
These widows and orphans, like other vulnerable groups in society, have a lot of needs. Do you think the private sector is doing enough to help out in improving the quality of lives of these people through CSR?
You know what? We hear CSR all the time. Corporate social responsibility. I like to add NSR or ISR. Guess what? Individual social responsibility and neighborhood social responsibility. We can all do it. We don't have to be an organization, and we don't have to have billions. We don't have to have millions before you can lend a hand. Sometimes you just need to pray with the individual. Sometimes you just need to discuss with the individual and encourage them and help them with the mental state that they're in. You understand? They just need somebody who has a listening ear at times. It's not just all about money.
For the government, would you say there are enough social protection policies to cater to these group of people?
I believe that in 2019, the former administration did sign a bill into law in 2015 that is Violence Against Vulnerable People's Act or something like that. And that is where our widows and orphans would fall under. We had advocated strongly for it. I'd written a book called The Cry of Widows and Orphans, and we sent it to Senate, and we sent it to some of our friends in House of Reps, one of whom was Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, and she helped to push that. You understand me? It took 2 years, but it was worth waiting for. However, I believe that the area that the government should really be looking at is enforcing those existing laws.
What is the best part of what you do? What's the most interesting part of what you do dealing with widows and orphans?
Lovely question. The best part is when you see the children graduate, and we try to attend as many as possible to show our support and to felicitate with those children. Yes, maybe for the orphans, their friends are there, but when they see us, their faces brighten up. And for the widows themselves, you see a marked improvement within a year or two of how their life was and how it is after a year or two. The smiles are wide, and they're singing, they're dancing, unlike when their heads were drooped when they first came to us, when there was a lot of crying. And now they're telling you stories about, do you know we've had widows who have told us that, oh, you know what, I'm okay now, I don't need any more loans. Yes, we've had widows who've told us that. And they can now fend for themselves. They can put 3 square meals on the table for their children. They are happy. They see their children coming out of uni. There are many, many, many stories that gladden our hearts.
There's a growing number of widows and orphans who have the Rose of Sharon Foundation to thank for the chance to achieve their dreams in life. From poor widows turned successful business owners and landladies to first-class graduates from universities and successful professionals in numerous fields of endeavor. These are beneficiaries of the Foundation's numerous programs who would otherwise have been subjected to a life of poverty and injustice. Take a look.
The federal government of Nigeria signed the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill into law in 2015, but in spite of this, the vulnerable groups in society still face discrimination, and most are either unreported or underreported. Among them are orphans and widows who suffer double jeopardy, the death of their husbands and untold hardship meted on them and their children by family members who should be protecting them. That's why the Rose of Sharon Foundation, founded by Mrs. Folorunsho Lakija, has set out to alleviate the pains of widows and orphans.
When my husband died, they took my children, they took my properties, they drove me out. I was just roaming the streets.
Stories of rejection and ill treatment of widows who once enjoyed the protection of their husbands is rife in African societies. Oluchi Nkoku is a registered widow under the Rose of Sharon Foundation who suffered similar fate like these other women before they came in contact with the Rose of Sharon Foundation.
It was one of my church members that told me about Rose of Sharon. Of course, I didn't believe it because I never had a thing like that before. So eventually, even as at that time, my children were not with me because they took my children away. And with a step of bold faith, I came. And of course, it worked out. I didn't know that a thing like that was going to happen. Because even the day they empowered me, my children were not still with me then. But today, I am happier.
Besides sponsoring widows' children and orphans through school, the foundation also offers skill acquisition programs and interest-free loans to help the women become financially independent.
I really thank God and I appreciate our mommy. And what really surprised me is that they gave me the loan, there's no interest. You know, I have a cooperative that I used to get loan from them. They will take 10% from that loan. But when I got here, they did not take one kobo. They only give us time, a year or 1.5 years, to pay up the loan.
I was using room and parlor. Then I want to establish my own school. I started inside my parlor with the 7 children. Then I came to Rose of Sharon. I need a loan. They gave me a loan. I used it to buy chair, buy table, gather the children together, start with them. To the glory of God, after then I packed to 3-bedroom flat to continue with my puppies, and my children, they are doing well.
I would like to say a big thank you to Jesus. I would also like to say a big thank you to the founder of the Rose of Sharon Foundation, Mrs. Folorunsho Lakija, who has been a big support to this dream, who made this day a reality, because it has always been a dream. Ever since I lost my father, she has been sponsoring my education, she has been checking up on me, she has been making sure I didn't derail.
No doubt the lives of thousands of widows and youths have been impacted by the kind gesture of this foundation, who are expanding their reach to help more people in need.
Indeed, the fulfillment that comes from giving back and contributing to society is unparalleled. And that's today's program. Thank you for watching. Let's stay connected on social media. The addresses are showing on your screen. I'm Uche Aluku. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.